Hi. I'll start out with a side note. This is actually the third take of this video that I've done today, which is actually on the high side for what I usually do. The reason I'm mentioning this is that my dad asked me the other day, he was like, do you script yourself or do you kind of just talk? And in case anybody's wondering, I kind of just talk. Usually I can get it in a take or two. Sometimes it takes 3 or maybe more, we'll see. So if anybody's curious, yes, I kind of just talk, and this is take number 3. So last time I talked a lot about getting advised and what I want to do for the future, and you know, I was in the middle of my pediatrics rotation. So what I'm going to do right now is just talk about the whole advising situation and then move on to how I felt about outpatient peds. So I did actually go in and get advised, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and notice I'm significantly more upbeat about that because basically I have my choices narrowed down to either emergency medicine or internal medicine. And, you know, I mentioned being worried about it because I don't have that many activities and research and all that kind of stuff. So the reason that makes me happy is that my advisor told me that if I want to do internal medicine, I basically can go anywhere I want just with what I have. So that's awesome. Particularly if I want to stay at our home institution, I basically wouldn't even have to fill out the residency application. It's a good thing. That makes me happy. Emergency medicine might be somewhat of a trickier issue, but chances are I could still stay in state. In fact, chances are pretty good I could stay in state. And I'm going to have to do some away rotations at other institutions that are in locations that aren't as interesting as the one we're in right now. But given that, if I do well in that, then it's looking pretty good if I ultimately want to end up in emergency medicine. And she mentioned during this this information session, she's an OBGYN, and my boyfriend was doing his OBGYN rotation at the time, and she told me that a bunch of people had been coming to her and just raving about him. So if he wants to stay in our institution and do OBGYN, he pretty much could just walk into that as well. So things are looking pretty good for the two of us. He also went in to get advising, and she kind of was like nudging him in the direction of doing OBGYN, so that's all kind of shaping up. Made me feel better also that he went and got some advice, because, you know, I'm not super stressed out when it comes to planning these kinds of things, because it tends to kind of work out how it's supposed to. Nonetheless, it's the fact that we're doing this together makes the whole thing a lot more complicated. So, you know, I wanted to get the lay of the land for myself, but I also need the lay of the land for him. So him having given me that, I feel a lot better than I did last week. Also, I found out that I got approved for the emergency medicine rotation at our home institution in July, which, geographical concerns aside, this program is absolutely the one I would want to do if I were going to do emergency medicine. It's one of the best in the country. And I wouldn't have to move, so everybody wins. Also, boyfriend could stay here, which is what he wants, so, you know, it's all kind of starting to work out. Also, we talked, and next year, you know, when residency starts, basically, we're going to move in together, which is exciting, but also sad, because I'm going to have to give up my beloved cat. He's allergic, and he doesn't like cats, so I lose on that whole issue. He really is allergic. So that's going to be really sad, but I've started kind of feeling out various friends if they would take her, and I'm pretty confident I can find somebody to take her. And it makes the whole thing a lot easier if I know she's going to somebody who will take care of her and I can visit. So that all was good. The scrapes from my bicycle injury have all healed, so that's also good. Last thing was the outpatient pediatrics. One of the things that was kind of stressing me out about the whole advising session was I was split in so many different directions on what I wanted to do. So now I have it pretty much narrowed down to emergency medicine or internal medicine. But at the time I was also thinking maybe pediatrics, you know, which is just one more thing to consider. Or there's also something where you can do internal medicine and pediatrics together. So that was also a thing I was considering. But after outpatient peds, no way. No way. What fooled me was that the inpatient kids, they get used to being examined and they know that nothing actively is going to happen to them, and they're so cute and they're easy, and the whole thing was a lot of fun. Outpatient, they freak out because they think that they're going to get a shot at every turn, which, half of them are, but I'm not the one who gives them shots, and it doesn't matter if I tell them that or if they're not due for any. Oh my God, the crying day in and day out, I just really couldn't handle it. And so, no way, I'm not doing peds, no way. And I don't understand how anybody can. Like, it was awful. It was awful. So that's been crossed off the list as well. So I finished out the outpatient pediatrics, so I'm completely done with my peds rotation, and I took the shelf exam last week. Everybody told me it was really, really hard, but that actually really wasn't my experience. I think it was more random than anything else, and there were a lot of things on the test that weren't peds. So, like, having already had OB-GYN in particular was really helpful. They had a lot of, 14-year-olds with vaginal problems, which, a 14-year-old with a vaginal problem is not really all that different than a 19-year-old with one. So I could see where it would be difficult for people who hadn't had that many rotations yet. And I think that's kind of how it is with all the shelf exams in general. So for those of you who are going on to third year next year, don't be discouraged if your first couple exams don't go as well, because the body of knowledge that you accumulate across rotations really helps with future shelf exams. And that's really not fair. And like I said, they're bad tests for that reason. So don't get discouraged if the first few don't go exactly how you want them to. Past that, I'm in family medicine at the moment, and all last week, all we had were lectures and orientations and what have you, which was brutal, but they gave us Friday off, which is cool, and then today is President's Day, so I also got that off, so I had a 4-day weekend this weekend, and I was looking closely at my schedule, and I get every Friday noon off. So not only do I get full weekends every weekend, I also get half of Fridays, which is awesome. And next week I'm gonna go up to see my friends. My best friend is getting married and she's having a bridesmaid dinner, and I got the invitation on Facebook. And usually I get those and I'm like, oh man, but I got this one and I was like, I'm gonna go to this. I can do this. So that's always fun too. Lots of good things in the future. And yeah, things are shaping up nicely. It's nice to be reassured that things are going on. I think the third time was the charm here, and I'm going to try to record another one of these next week. Until then, take care.